Hey there everybody. If you're like me, you really struggle trying to find the perfect all-in-one travel camera. You know, one that is convenient, that's easy to use, fits in your pocket, but doesn't cost a lot of money and overall gives you a good image. Well, today I've got 4 cameras that I think could probably fit into that category, and we're going to talk about those and see which one might be best for you. So let's get into it. Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hey, today we're going to be talking about travel cameras. Recently took just a very small weekend trip to Gatlinburg, sporting my Tennessee sweatshirt. You always have to buy something when you go on vacation. And I took a couple cameras with me because, like you, I struggle with trying to find the perfect camera, the one that you can take with you that fits all the boxes or checks all the boxes, and so you're not taking a bunch of things with you when you go on your vacations. So I kind of broke this down into 5 categories. The first one, it's got to be convenient. And by that, I mean, it's easy to take in and out of your pocket, and the buttons are easy to use. And see, like this past trip, I had to wear gloves. And so you want something that's going to be convenient when you're wearing gloves. That leads me to my second point, easy. It needs to be easy to use, not a lot of buttons, and it doesn't have, you don't want something that's going to be very intricate. So it needs to be easy to use. And then the third category is quality. You want something that's going to provide a good image. And in that category, I include zoom, because there are a lot of good cameras, but they're fixed lens. And so I want something that's versatile. And so you could probably throw quality lens and versatility into the same category. Then cost. Now, like I said, you could spend an arm and a leg and find a great camera like a Ricoh or a Leica. They're multi-thousand-dollar cameras. They're going to produce great images, but that's not realistic. And so we're trying to find a budget camera that provides good results, that checks a lot of boxes, that you can take on your next vacation. Now, the last category is durability, because some of the things that I experienced on this trip, rain, cold, using gloves. When you're using gloves, you might drop something. And so durability, how well is this camera gonna withstand the elements? Because not all vacations are sun and, good weather. So what cameras did I take? Well, the first camera, if you're a fan of the channel, you've seen this one before. This is the Sony DSC-HX80 Handycam. Let's put that one up there. There you go. All right, and so we've seen this one before. This one is a crowd favorite. We also took the Sony point and shoot, the HX80. Let's see, there it goes. Focus is really nice. And then the third camera was the DJI Osmo Action 2. And this has got the power module and not the screen module or extra monitor. And then lastly, I took the camera I'm using right now, my iPhone 13 mini. Now, interesting story behind the 13 mini today. The reason why I'm using that particular camera is because I looked back at my best performing videos on YouTube and noticed the top 2, both of those, I used my iPhone. So I figured, hey, if it works for those videos, it can work for this video, so let's use it again. I've got it paired today with a SmallRig, and I've got it here in my pocket. The SmallRig wireless microphone set. There you go. We'll look at it right there. And so I've got it tethered to a lapel mic, and then the receiver is plugged into my phone. So if you're looking for a cost-effective wireless microphone solution, SmallRig W-60, great value. Great. All right, so hey, cameras. Let's look at some sample footage from the trip, and then when I come back, we'll discuss the pros, the cons, what I liked, didn't like, and which one I would recommend to you for your next trip. Let's look at them.
Send him a hardcover as a gift, and I'll bet you'll take it.
Okay, so the first thing you'll notice about those clips is I'm not the best videographer or editor, but I think you kind of get the idea of some of the strengths and weaknesses of these cameras. So let's start off with the Handycam. This Handycam is a great tool. I love taking this on vacations because it is, and let's look at the criteria, convenient, fits in your hand, easy to use. You just flip over the screen and it starts working. You press one button for record, one button for photos. And the zoom is right here on your finger, so very easy to use. It's convenient. It'll fit in your pocket if you're wearing a coat. Probably not jeans pockets, but it'll fit in a coat. Very easy to take. The cost, not expensive. It's around that $200 mark, maybe between $200, $250. They have gained in popularity, so that price is creeping up. The quality, as long as you've got good light, this provides great 1080p quality. Now the photos, not stellar, usable if it's good light, but once you get into low light, it degrades quite a bit. But for just video, this is great. The only real con to this, in my opinion, on vacation, is it is larger. It's the largest camera that I've got in this selection. And so you do kind of stand out when you're using, because when you flip this out, now you're using it like this, and you look like every tourist you've ever seen. So this, I love it, but when it comes to using it as my primary camera, probably not. But the zoom, you saw it, 60 times zoom. If there's something you absolutely have to catch and you can't get close enough to it, this is the one you take. All right, next, we're going to use the Sony point and shoot, the HX80. Now, if you noticed in those clips, this was my primary camera. When the weather is good, this is a great camera to have with you because it does take, I mean, look, it's a Zeiss lens, it's a Sony internal system, and so it's got all the bells and whistles. This takes great pictures. It's got a 30 times zoom, and so this, to me, is a wonderful camera to take for vacations. And it's around that $350 to $400 mark, so it's not as expensive as some of the newer cameras, but still boasts a lot of the same features, flip up screen, and I mean, it's so easy to use. The only downside, when it's wet, if you noticed in those clips, it did rain, and so you can't use this camera when the weather's bad because when it's inclement, it's not weather sealed. The other thing is it's not very durable. You drop this, which I did. I had it on a tripod and I dropped it going into the house and scratched it up. And so it's not the most durable camera. So if you're gonna go somewhere where you're gonna be wearing gloves or your hand might slip off of it, now it does have the ability to put a wrist strap on. Now you can't put the neck strap on, but you can put a wrist strap. That's great, but taking it in and out of a bag, your pocket, it's susceptible to being dinged. All right, so third camera. This is the DJI Action 2. And I tell you, let me see if I can get that one in there. Focus camera. There we go. And so I like this camera. I like it for video. It's 4K, so it takes much better images than the other two cameras. But you do have that wide angle lens, and so you've got to be very aware of that. It's not very durable. If you drop this part, you're going to scratch that lens or you're going to break the glass on the back. But it is weatherproof when it's like this. So if you noticed in those clips, I used this primarily when it was wet. Great video. Average photos. They're crisp, but you need a lot of light and you need to take into account that it's so wide. All right, but very easy to use, single button. So looking at the criteria, convenient, fits in your pocket, easy to use, one button. Cost, it's probably more expensive than the other cameras because you do have to buy extra modules for it. Quality, it's a great lens. It's got 4K capability, a 12 megapixel camera. So the photos are usable, video is the strength. And durability is a 50-50. Waterproof, but fragile. So, last camera, iPhone. Now this is probably the camera you're gonna have with you anyway, or something like it, a smartphone. And again, you know the strengths and weaknesses, but it's not great at everything. Sometimes when I use this, especially for video, it would get blown out. It does have a smaller sensor. Or photos. If you have a third-party app, you have a little more control over how that image looks. So it's very good. It's usable. But you don't always want to be taking video with your phone. The memory fills up, you might get a phone call, a text, any number of things. And so you want to use your phone as a phone. So if I had to pick, if you're going somewhere where the weather's great, no doubt the Sony HX80 is the camera I would take with me because it's just so good at so many different things. If you're going to go somewhere where you might encounter some rain, I would take the DJI because, again, it's very easy to put in a pocket, take out one button, turns it on, starts it. And so this is a no-brainer. You don't have to worry about focus because everything's in focus. And then if you wanted to take a second camera, if you're going to a sporting event or if you're going somewhere where you're not going to be able to get close to what it is you want to see, then this camera, for the money, you just can't beat it. A 60 times zoom at around $200. This is where it's at. Now, I've got a DSLR. You can see that zoom lens right back here. It's a great lens, but I don't want to carry that camera and that lens when I'm going somewhere because it's cumbersome. So that's why I like these cameras. So hey, you tell me, what do you think about these cameras? Do you have one? Have you thought about getting one? Have you owned one in the past and decided to get rid of it? Let me know. Love your feedback. And thanks so much for taking the time to watch the channel. And if you haven't already, become a subscriber. And if these kind of reviews, that's what you'd like to see, go ahead and hit that bell, become a subscriber. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. It really does. And that's all I've got for you today. So hey, until the next one, you guys take care and we'll see you.